They're off in the Belmont Oaks Invitational. Mayday Ready hopped in the air at the start in his lap. Opulent Restraint broke alertly. Totally Justified. Nitrogen third. Then it's Warming in a good spot fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Fian is next, racing on the outside of Virgin Colada. And at the back of the field, the trailer is Mayday Ready. The opening quarter mile for Opulent Restraint went in 23 seconds flat, opening up to lead it by 5 lengths. Totally Justified in second, and the favorite Nitrogen reserved in third. They're followed by Warming. Fian is next. Another 2 back to Virgin Colada and Mayday Ready. It is Opulent Restraint. Loose on the front end, has a 3-length cushion on Totally Justified in second. Jose Ortiz and Nitrogen still cruising along. 1.5 lengths in front of Warming, who's 5 lengths off the lead. The half in 46 and 3. Moving into the far turn. Fian has 5 lengths to make up. Then Virgin Colada and Mayday Ready. Opulent Restraint. Nitrogen gets her cue now and starts to gather some momentum into second. Opulent Restraint has been alone on the front end. Nitrogen second. Fian running a good race on the outside third, followed by Warming in fourth. On the outside, Mayday Ready is starting to kick in. They're in the final furlong, and Nitrogen comes to Opulent Restraint, who's fighting her hard. 2 lengths back, Fian trying to pull off the upset and is finishing with very nice strides. It's Nitrogen in front. Opulent Restraint comes back, and here's Fian surging on the outside. Here's the line. Photo finish! Fian and Fabian Pratt came right at Nitrogen and Jose Ortiz. Those two in the Belmont Oaks Invitational.
This episode of Coffee with Dew, sponsored by Leaf Filters Gutter Protection or whatever it's called. Right?
Leaf? Yeah. Is that what it is? Yeah, it's called
Leaf Fitters or Leaf something. I don't know.
Here's the deal, man. Here's the folder. Here's the folder. Leaf.
So,
yeah, Leaf Filter Gutter Protection. So here's the deal. I'm my dad. Look, we got some gutter issues. House was built in 1997. I was watching Fox News. I was watching Gutfeld because he's funny, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they had an ad for Leaf Filter because we have weeds growing out of our gutters and all this and that. I'm like, hey, you
got to clean the gutters. I mean, that's the first.
Okay, we cleaned the gutters, and then I hired somebody else to clean the gutters, and then there's an area where I need a long ladder, and somebody stole my ladder. So I hired another guy, and he only did the front, not the back. So I call a guy. I call these guys. I didn't even know I set up the appointment for July 5th. I mean, who sets up an appointment the day after the 4th of July? So the guy comes over. He's like a used car salesman, like the Tin Man, or like he's trying to sell me. You've seen those movies.
Of course.
So I bet, first of all, we discussed 3 races. That's one of them we discussed. I showed the replay.
This is so I've thought a lot about this conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we had it. I think the first thing we need to do is go back and watch, if you can pull this up, and you'll have to go to your ADW, the 5th from Ellis yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. Because that started, and you and I have already spoken, so I kind of know how this story begins and ends. That starts a sequence of events that was unfortunate for both of us, actually. Now, it had a happy ending for me, and we'll go into that. But if we can watch yesterday's 5th from Ellis Park. So it was July 5th, the 5th race. We were on the 5 horse, Alder.
Yeah, let me get July 5th.
And by the way, the horse was 5-1, actually 4.9. So the number 5 was looming everywhere. The 5th race on the 5th, horse 5 at about 5-1, 4.91 to 1 to be precise. And we knew that Alder was going to be not the favorite in here. We handicapped the race. I kind of liked the 2 and the 5 as the 2 was named the Process. And I ended up playing the 5 to win Alder and also playing an exacta Saber 2 over the 5. But we need to watch this. The eventual winner in here is the 8 Multitask, We're on the 5, and
there they go.
we're going to see here the trip that we get. Okay, we're right now we're 4 paths from the rail. We enter the turn four wide. I mean, that's suboptimal. Where the eventual winner is basically effectively on the rail. I mean, the eventual winner has no horses to the inside, and here we are looming up into a kind of a bonus trip of death, the 3 wide trip of death position.
Yeah, we're way too keen early on the outside, pressing the 23 and 2 and whatever the half was in. But yeah, that's not a good spot.
I mean, it's worse than the trip of death, actually. I mean, because you're instead of being 2 wide, you're 3 wide. Now he's actually in a trip of death spot because he's in second.
Yeah. 46 flat. That's 46 flats. Kind of stupid.
Yeah, and the eventual winner there is now second from the last, the 8 horse in the Godolphin Silks. The runner-up is Aspenite, who's 1 position ahead of the eventual winner. At this point, you're expecting Alder to – I'm thinking the horse is going to finish 4th or 5th. I mean, the horse isn't going to sustain it. But, and here the winner tips out and loses a very little bit of ground late. And Alder does not back up. You see, got about half a length in front. Here comes Aspenite. Alder is still fighting. At this point, I thought we might still win. And then it just became too much. The ground loss became too much. And we run 3rd, beaten about a length. Is that right? About a length. Yeah. So now that had we hit that race, I was going to enter the Indiana Grand contest on Twin Spires, and you would have been more engaged. So at this point in the story, why don't you tell us what? And I realize I'm kind of taking over the host role here. What happened to your day after this race?
So you watched that race. So I have obviously a lot of family in town. So we've been busy doing this and that. So we made it a trip to the cemetery day in late morning, early afternoon. And I made a point to make all my bets. I did a $10 try. I did a exacta box with the 2. I had a large win bet, this and that. I'm watching the race at Wild Berries, the famous breakfast place where a lot of Chicago Bears players go on Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. So I'm watching the race and I'm like, come on, and then we lose. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going to play these next 2 horses. But I wasn't going to bet until I got home.
Because on yesterday's Coffee with Dew, we highlighted 3 horses, the first of which was Alder, who we just watched lose after a horrific double trip of death trip. I think was the best horse in the race. I think
it was a good pick. It just, it's one of those things where you're like, man, and I'm bragging about the kid, Gabriel Saez was on that horse, I think. Yeah. Having a good early part of the meet, and he didn't ride very well there. But so I'm like all pumped up for, even though I lost that race, I was like, okay, we ran good. I'm going to hit these next ones. I like Fiona, whatever the hell, Fiona.
Yep, Fiona, yeah.
And we recognized Lone Speed in the Indiana Derby. So I was going to play those 2. I pull in the driveway. Now, my dad, he doesn't want to fucking talk to this guy. He's in my driveway waiting. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Is this guy like a bill collector or something? I don't think I owe anybody money. So he gets out of the car with like this big, like gigantic 3x3 briefcase. And he's like, hey, gutter, leaf filter guy, whatever. And he's like starting to talk to my dad. Are you the guy that makes the decision? I go, whoa, hold on, buddy. My dad's a heart patient. He ain't going to talk to you about nothing. I forgot I made the appointment. Thanks for coming. But talk to me. I'm the guy that called you. Me and my brother, will pitch in and we're going to pay for this thing if it works out. And then he got real short. Oh, I was coming and this and that. I said, hey, buddy, look, you want to go through this or not? And then he kind of quieted down. I kind of quieted down and, took a deep breath. He started giving me a spiel in the driveway. And keep in mind, I've still got 2 hours to post for the next race. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I'm good. He's looking around. He's explaining the thing, blah, blah, blah. Goes into a long diatribe. And he's like, it was like 15 minutes. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to take some measurements. I'm going to look around, take some pictures. I said, and when I'm done, I'll talk to you. I'm like, fine. I'm going to tinker with the pool, get, backwash it, get the pump going, and then I'll be in the house. He knocks on my door like 35 minutes later. So now that 2 hours after the 15 minutes and the 35 minutes is like an hour and 15 before post.
Right.
He gets into the kitchen table and he digs in like an Alabama tick and starts talking about this, that. He runs through this whole thing. I have 138 feet of gutter, which he thought would be more, and it's really not a lot. It's for a big house. It's, it's okay. How much do you think that leaf filter with this stainless steel surgical grade mesh that no organic material can get into would cost for 138 feet of gutter?
Does the price include replacing the actual gutters themselves?
Yeah, you're going to replace the gutters with 6-inch gutter or 5-inch gutter, the bigger gutter. We're going to keep the downspouts because those were the right size. And we're going to put this leaf filter surgical mesh stainless steel system over it. 138 feet around the house. How much do you think that would cost?
138 linear feet. Okay. You're talking about, roughly 40 yards and change.
Yeah.
Closer to 50 yards of gutters. It's a 2-story house. Yes.
Well, yeah, it's a 2-story home, but
yeah, right. Well, you got other expenses there. I mean, honestly, I would expect you could get that done for between $7,000 and $8,000 would be my guess.
I went into it hoping for 6.
Yeah. And
if it's 7, so be it. This guy charged me he quoted me $17,000. $17,000. I don't know if you can see that. $17,410 each he quoted. And then you see that figure on the bottom, 11,000?
Yeah.
That's if he just puts the leaf guard over the current gutters.
Right. 11,000. That's insane.
So he's got me in there. And he's trying to hard sell me like, nah, man, I do due diligence. I got to do research. Nah, that's sticker shock for me. I wasn't prepared for that, blah, blah, blah. Then he's really digging in. He's like, well, I can give you a 10% preferred discount now. I can give you a 5% for your dad for being a senior. What about military in the family? Well, my grandpa was, my grandparents were in World War II. All right, 5% there. Then he goes 15% summer sale discount. Then he's got flex install. If we call you and, we want to do it on a Saturday instead of a Tuesday, are you flexible? Yeah, I'm flexible. 5% there. So he knocks off $7,000. It goes from 17,000 to 10,000. But the kicker is, Justin, I got to buy it right there. I said, well, look, pal, you're giving me a 1-year guaranteed, quote.
Mm-hmm.
What if I want to come back in 6 weeks? You're going to tell me 17,000 to 10,000's out the door after I want to, research it a little bit? He's like, yeah, that's the deal. I'm busy. I got 5 other people to talk to. I said, how are you going to, are you like selling this to an old lady? She's a widow. Her husband died. She's got his money. That's the only people that are going to buy this thing right on the spot. Nobody's going to pay for it right there. So back and forth, this and that. I lost track of time. By the way, we had to look at a farm at 5:30 at that point in time. My phone's blown up. Fat Jamie's hitting me up. Yeah, dude. I didn't bet a dime on the other two races.
Well, let's get to so then let's pick up the story. So then you open the show with the replay of the Belmont Oaks from yesterday.
The race I wish I would have bet.
Right. That was the first thing that happened. That was the 11th race. And by the way, that went post time. I'm looking at the chart. It was off at 6:17 p.m. Okay. So
by the way, you had 5 bills on that race. And what else did you bet?
I had 100. So I had 100 to win on Fian. at 6-1. But by that point, it was too late for me to get into the Indiana Grand contest. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I, as people know, I've been taking a step back from the horses, although this weekend my handicapping has been freaking lights out, because if you were watching yesterday at Saratoga in the 8th race, I sent out a text to our personal Lone Speed group text where I said, the price on number 5, Step Forward, is insane. 12-1, loses by a nose to a horse that he just couldn't run down. It was IRAD. I was on IRAD and the 5 Step Forward, so I missed that too. But I've really been seeing things very clearly the last couple of days. So we go into the Belmont Oaks Invitational. I'm not depositing money in my ADW. I'm getting rebates and bonus incentives, whatever. And on July 1st, I got a bonus amount from my ADW, and I had $100 left. So I put the 100 to win on Fian. We just watched the replay at the start of the show. Gets up at 6 at an overlaid, by the way. Not only did you miss the race, Stevo, but it was an overlaid 6-1.
9-2 to 6. Oh my God.
It was 5-1 on the morning line, but goes off at 6-1. So then that race goes off. And then our second horse of the day, or third, the second one that you missed, why don't you pull up your replay from Horseshoe, Indiana yesterday?
Yep. Pulling it up right now.
And that is the Indiana Derby, which is race number 12. Where, now a little background here, Tip Top Thomas was my early bet last fall to win the Kentucky Derby. I bet that I think I had 200 at 40-something to 1 off of the really solid effort in the Champagne Stakes. And then he just didn't get back into training. He didn't get back into training until late, so he missed the Triple Crown Trail. Came back at Keeneland in a sprint, wasn't ready for that short distance. And then on May 25th, won an allowance race at Belmont at Aqueduct as a favorite, and then came into this race appearing to be possibly the Lone Speed on paper. Now, it didn't work out that way, and we knew we weren't going to get 6-1. We ended up at about 2.7 to 1. But I thought, the horse's ability, which I really believe in, combined with the expected trip today. I just hit the Fian race about 20 minutes earlier, and I had a few extra bucks in my account.
House money, no fear.
Right. And I was irritated because if you've been following my picks all weekend, you know that I had a big pick 3 on 4th of July at Saratoga that I was against locked. I had Antiquarian, who just missed by a dirty nose that cost me a fair amount of money. So I was like, you know what? I believe in this horse, Tip Top Thomas. I've always been a believer. I'm going to bet more than I normally would. He's the 6th horse in this replay. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Let's watch this.
And again, you're at this point, you're either still talking to the leaf filter guy or you're looking at the farm you were going to buy. I don't know what you were doing.
No, I was doing leaf filters.
Did you already kick the guy out of the house at this point?
Yeah, we were late for the 5:30 appointment. We went to that farm at 6 Central. And by the way, this is the first time I'm watching this replay.
So there's Tip Top Thomas. He's in second right here. So already I'm like, wait a minute, you got this 49-1 shot.
You know what? I'd be surprised right now at this point of the race.
Yeah, it's not what I expected, and I'm kind of cursing under my breath here because obviously Johnny Velasquez on my horse wanted the lead. This 49-1 shot's forcing the issue, and Johnny's like going out there. They go a half in 46 flat. Okay, so I'm like, correct. They go faster. They go faster in the second quarter than they did in the first quarter by a lot. And in fact, let me pull up the incremental pace. Tip Top Thomas ran that second quarter in 22.5 seconds. So,
oh my God.
I'm at this point, I'm like, damn it, I'm absolutely effed. And here comes the cavalry. You got Coal Battle as the 3 there coming up. Fortunately, it's Corey Lannery on Coal Battle. So,
Corey.
And the 7 horse is Big Truz.
That was Jordan's horse.
Yeah, and then the 8. The 8 is almost 60-1 who's making a run here. But so
where the hell is Publisher? Publisher never made a move into this?
Publisher never fired.
Oh my God. That would have
ended up 4th, but Publisher's kind of their is Publisher the 9? Yeah, I think.
That horse, yeah.
So Johnny's just digging in here, and right here I'm like, oh my God, he's going to hold off and win this race.
Yeah, look at that. Oh my God.
So I put 500 to win on him. It was a hugely profitable day, which honestly, as our buddy Frank would say, Bill Parcells once famously said, "You are what your record says you are."
Yeah.
Frank would say, "Look, I mean, either you win or you lose," and it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really have been seeing the ball clearly. I took, as you know, a couple months off of the horses. I haven't been dialed in. I haven't been focused, and I, got back into my old career in cybersecurity, and I've still been keeping one eye on the horses, but just one eye. I'm not dialed in, but the last couple of days I have been, and you missed it because of frickin' leaf
filter gutter protection. And my God, the sticker shock. Look, it's good technology if you got millions of dollars and you want to, the best gutters, but it's, you know what? I'm buying a ladder and I'm cleaning the shit out myself.
That's the answer.
I'm not spending $17,000 on leaf filter.
Here's the thing. So I used to be in home remodeling sales. Okay. If that guy was leading with a price for today of $11,000, you could have gotten him down to $7,500, $8,000. I guarantee it. He wanted to negotiate with you, and it didn't happen. So let's do this. Now you might say that I kind of did my thing yesterday, and you want to fade my opinions today. And I wouldn't argue with anybody who said, "Hey, look, he was kind of seeing the ball yet." We should have been 3 for 3 yesterday. I believe Adler should have won.
Yeah.
I think we should have been 3 for 3. It didn't happen. I've got 2 opinions today that I feel really good about.
I love it. I love it.
Let's go to Saratoga's race 3.
Let's do it.
And you can pull up the formulator past performances in here. So we're going 1.5 miles on the inner turf at Saratoga. All reports are the weather's fine. I don't think there's any reason to suspect anything different than a firm turf course. What I'm going to do now, really quickly, as I talk on the fly and think on the fly, I just want to make sure that there wasn't any overnight rain. I'm going to check Andy Serling's tweet, or now let me check David Aragona and just make sure there's nothing, no unexpected give in the ground, because that might have an impact here. No indication yet. I think right now we're good. So the horse I want to focus on here in this allowance optional claimer is likely to be the favorite, but I don't think we're looking at a huge favorite. It's number 5, Miwa. I believe it's Miwa. And this is my logic here. I think if you look at this horse's European form, there's reason to believe the horse does not prefer give in the ground. It ran some races over heavy going, didn't run well, ran some better races on good to softer turf. I mean, that's still got some give in the ground, but I wonder if they didn't buy this horse privately and say, let's try America, because American turf courses are generally, but not always, firmer than European courses. And then what happens? The horse comes over here to North America and catches 2 yielding turf courses against better. I mean, ran in the grade 1 New York, didn't run last at shorter distances. My knee-jerk reaction, having no inside information on this horse, is that it wants a little more distance and it wants firmer going, which it's going to get today. So there's not a lot of speed in here. I don't know exactly who's, and sometimes in these races around 2-3 turns, a surprising horse comes out and takes the lead. I don't think the 5 is going to take the lead here. I guess it's not impossible, but I think because of the projected not hot pace, Miwa is going to be not too terribly far out of it. Time form says this horse has a strong late kick. If you look at actual time form ratings, and if you were to, I don't know how you, but if you customize We just had scratches come out here. Hold on a second. Formulator's not really cooperating for me here. So I need we have the one they just scratched the also eligibles. Okay, we already knew that was going to happen, so that's no big deal. Anyway, back to my point. If I pull up the time form figures, Miwa in her 2 North American races has been given a 119 and a 116. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That absolutely towers over the rest of the field. And I think she's going to be getting her best scenario today in terms of probably going to appreciate the firmer turf course. It's a scale back in class. I think 5-2 would be an absolute gift on this horse. I think she'll be favored. I think the 6 In Time is going to take some money for sure. But I don't think we're going to get like 6-5 or 7-5 on Miwa. I think it's going to be 9-5, 2-1. And I think this is a good bankroll builder type of horse. I think this horse wins. I'm hoping she doesn't get hammered, but I really think we're going to see a big performance from Miwa in this race. I think she just is better than these.
Yeah, it looks like they're all going to be within 2 lengths of each other, and they're just going to gallop around there, and they're going to, from a 3/8 of the quarter, they're just going to quicken, and whoever's fastest in the lane is going to win. And I love having Saez. You know how I for my money, you know, there's a lot of Flavien Prat guys out there, Erad Ortiz guys out there. For me, it's Saez. Saez is, you know, he's my guy. He's like my favorite jockey. He's the guy that I would want, like if I had first pick for a jockey.
Yeah. So I think, and I'm glad we have Saez too. He's just solid.
Yeah.
You know, I think Pratt outrode Irad yesterday in that turf sprint where I had the 12-1 horse and Pratt beat me on the 7-1 George Weaver horse. And I thought Irad just never got by Pratt, and Pratt did a masterful job. So I think the plan here is, if I'm not really looking at the 2nd or the 4th. They're not really my kind of race. If you want to try a double or something, I'm not going to mess with exactas. I'm just going to try to pad the bankroll a little bit with the 5, maybe steal 2-1, and then go on to race number 9, which is 1 1/16 on the inner turf course. Another allowance optional claimer, and we got a bit of a price here on a horse that I don't think we're going to get the morning line, especially with the we got some scratches in here, don't we? The 12 and the 13. Although
the 3's out,
7's out, and the 7 must have been scratched before because the 7's not even appearing in the PPs. But
yeah.
So I don't think we're going to get 10-1 on number 6, Willing to Risk It All. I think that's just unlikely, honestly. But here's my take. For one, according to time form and according to optics, the 6 is probably going to be on the rail and on the lead. Again, you never know who's going to pressure or try to make something happen from the outside, but I think it's very reasonable to assume this horse is going to be on the lead and on the rail. So that's already 2 good things working for us. So the last 2 races, we had outside posts and we had wide trips. You can see that in the running lines or in the notes. You don't even need to watch the replay. They were both on the last 2 turf races were both on good turf courses. They were both at 1 1/16. And you see the race 2 back, the May 17th race, breaks from the rail and then somehow ends up in the 2 path. It's like, let's break from the rail, let horses pass us from the outside.
God,
let's go right into a trip. I mean, I absolutely hate it when that happens. I absolutely hate it.
And we got a red number in there. It's fast and TOD, it looks like. So
yeah, a semi. It wasn't a TOD for the whole race, but it was still a suboptimal trip. It says chased in the 2 path. Always, always, always bad. Still finished 3rd of 9 behind 2 horses that came from a little bit off the pace. I mean, a little bit out of it. So, and then you go to the race before that, 4 wide and 3 wide, another wide trip breaking from post 7. I mean, again, you're the second call, you're second by a length. You're to the outside. You're in another at least temporary trip of death position, you're wide. So that, again, 2 suboptimal trips. Then we got to go back to August of 2024, basically a year ago, for 3 other attempts on the turf, 2 of which were at Saratoga, all 3 wide draws. And what do the notes say there? You look at the August 24th race, bump to the break, 2 path. Before that, 4 3 wide first turn, kept on. Before that, 3 wide of the turns, 5. I mean, this horse has been drawn to wide trips everywhere. And if you like Beyer speed figures, which occasionally I do and occasionally I don't, we can see this horse with wide trips is running Beyers at 80. Okay. That absolutely triumphs over this field. I mean, the 10, today's 10, Brigade Commander, is breaking from post 10, has put up some low 80s Beyers. The 9 has put up a low 80s Beyer. Willing to Risk It All, my 6, has put up consistent 80 to high 70s Beyers with wide trips. Okay.
Yeah.
And today projects to be on the front, on the rail. There are many, many, many things going for this horse. Yes, this one is a state bred. Okay. And we know that state breds compared to open company, it's not exactly the same level of competition. But the race on May 17th was also against open company. And he hardly disgraced himself in that race. So 10-1, I think it would be a highway robbery, a Brinks job. But there are horses in here that I think are going to get played. You know that the 5 Miguel Clement's horse with Irad Ortiz coming off a 5-length romp against state-bred maidens, that horse is going to get bet 100%. It's not going to shock me, and I hate that this is the case. It's not going to shock me if my 6 ends up being the second choice.
Wow.
The 10, I mean, are they going to? The 10's got a bad post, okay, and I think I just don't think they're gonna bet this horse down to 5-2. Maybe they will, and I'm wrong. And the Beyers the turf Beyers on the 10 are better than mine, and we know Beyers have a major impact. That's another thing I look for in Beyers, because they do tell you where the bettors are going to go, but there's a lot of things you have to do your own research and your own digging into each Beyer, in my opinion. So I'm on the 6 here. Yeah,
I like it. You make a good point. There's nothing worse in turf racing than a horse that's uncovered, wide, and especially if they get the trip like Adler did that we watched earlier.
Yeah.
So if we can just this kid bug isn't that bad. You're getting 5 pounds, and 14%. This guy's cutting his teeth. Is there any relation to Stuart Elliott?
I don't know. I should know that, but didn't Channing Elliott? I mean, did he race at Oaklawn, or am I imagining that? Maybe I'm.
Doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. He's ridden this horse twice. I don't know why I thought Oaklawn. Maybe I'm thinking of Stuart Elliott and Smarty Jones in Oaklawn. I don't know, but Elliott, this bug, has been on this horse for the last 2 starts.
Right.
Hopefully that means he's learned something about the horse. And we'll just see how it shakes out.
I like this horse. This is you're a little bit apprehensive about saying, hey, we're going to get 10-1, but that's all right. If we get 6, you're thinking we're going to be second choice.
I think it's not going to shock me if the 5 gets bet heavily down to like 2-1, 5-2, and then the 6 ends up like 4-1, 9-2, and then the 10 ends up around that same area. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe third choice. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I'm not expecting 10-1, but I am going to be making a win bet as long as the horse isn't drifting down to 7-2 or something. At that point, right. I might try an exacta over the 5, or I don't know what I'll try, but that's the play for me. 2 plays at Saratoga today, bud.
All right, Tony V. I used to have trouble all the time with leaves in my gutters. I fixed the problem when I cut down the trees next to my house. Well, there's trees in the neighborhood that aren't mine, and I did plant, or my mom planted a tree in the yard that we will never cut down. So
Yeah, I mean,
there's that.
I think you hit the right solution. Oh, here we go. I think this is Clay. Hey, Clay.
Clay, yeah. Pair up Miwa in the
In the
third
third
with
with
Jeremiah's Firster in the second. So is that a double
Okay.
we're talking about?
Yeah, it would be the second. So he's talking. Jeremiah's Firster is the 6 Toga Twist in race 2, according to our good friend Clay Sanders, who
All right. There we
said,
go.
I love the horse, first time starter. Okay, I mean, look, you get
Well,
information.
I mean, look at that work tab. Yeah, the morning reports, the workout reports must be glowing on this one.
I mean, I'm going to just blindly. Clay, listen, Clay does not give out a lot of tips. He's on a handful of occasions, he's told us about 10 strike horses.
Yep.
And I hit either a double or I think I might have hit a 10 strike pick 3 once, because it was either a double or a pick 3 at Oaklawn. I think I can't remember, but I cashed a big ticket because Clay's like, we kind of like our horses. So if Clay's got information about a horse, I'm going to follow his guidance blindly. I'm not going to empty the bankroll going on the double, but I am going to try to get a double 6 into the 5.
The broodmare was pretty talented. Career got cut short. Was on a 3-race winning streak before the career ended for the broodmare. So yeah, and it's working good. So yeah, a nice double 6 to
the
5. And
and then maybe you got a little extra money for the 9th, and then we hit that. We got a little extra money for race 9. We play Willing to Risk It All in the 9th, and we wrap up. And then Steve, you'll have enough money by that point. You can buy the leaf filter solution, and at least a ladder, or at least you can replace your stolen ladder.
I have been trying to get a hold of Emily Gullickson so we can find out if we're going to be on the turf at Hawthorne today. We got some rain, and I did text her. Haven't heard anything. What's Nick the Kid texted me?
He's probably lying about how much money he bet on a horse.
Yeah, Nick, Justin doesn't believe that you bet 200 to win on, what do you say, Lamplighter Jack?
Who the hell knows?
He's but anyway, we have a horse in here. Dino's Dixie. And this
Are
horse
you going to watch?
Yeah, I'm going to be at Hawthorne today.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a 12-5 claimer.
What race are we at Hawthorne here?
We're in race 2 at Hawthorne. So we had some rain last night, a little bit of a drizzle this morning in southeastern Wisconsin. Now down in Cicero, which is about hour drive south. I don't know if they got rain at all or not. So maybe Nick the Kid can chime in and tell me. I did text Emily. She might have slept in this morning.
Okay. Well,
but
she's entitled to do that.
Well,
your first post at Hawthorne today, 3:43 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, they're trying to, they don't want to butt heads with Saratoga early on, and their feature race, Saratoga's pretty much done by then, and get some handle. But Dino's Dixie should be okay today. Joel had this horse. There's no turf racing at Oaklawn, as you know. So we gave a lot of the turf horses to Joel down at Tampa, a couple turf horses to some other guys in Gulfstream. But this guy wasn't in the greatest of form down there. We think we might have fixed something, at least temporarily, on him, and we think he's going to run a big race today. This kid, Santiago Gonzalez, has been just on fire lately. I mean, he literally went from 10% to 15% in the last 2 weeks, and he was aboard Lamplighter Jack when he won. So He's really feeling it. There's no secret here. 5.5 are going to go. This 2 horse here has never run on turf, and maybe they entered for dirt, hoping it rains. But I would think maybe why not just an MTO? But we'll see what he can do. He'll spice things up, but I think we're much faster.
Well, my friend, I hope that whatever happens today, you don't have a new distraction that prevents you from winners. Although, listen, we people have been watching you and I talk for a while. I got my Patreon, which I'm not really active in right now. It's obviously this year. I go through streaks. I think anyone who has followed me on Horsey Twitter or on your YouTube channel knows I go through these periods where I can't miss anything, and then I go through periods where I can't hit water if I fall out of a boat. Okay, and the last couple of days I've been hot, but all hot streaks come to an end. People should consider that when deciding whether or not to play the horses I gave out today. And hopefully, Steve-O, if you're not distracted and you don't have another guy showing up your house trying to sell you some other horse, hopefully you get in and we hit. That's all.
I'm definitely going to be playing these horses, albeit now. Let's get the post times down. So.
Yeah, let's do that.
Which one goes off first?
Clay's tout. That's the second at Saratoga, which goes at 1:44 p.m. Eastern time, and then my first play of the day is the third, which goes at 2:18 p.m. Eastern time, and then the ninth is 5:44 p.m. Eastern time. So you're spread out there. You got about 4 hours between race 2 and race 9.
All right, so I'm going to be playing race 9 at Hawthorne.
Yes, you will.
So I'm going to have to bet that double in the win bet in race 3, or however I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that early here, get that out of the way, probably on my advanced wagering site, and then I'll bet cash or both later on. Because I probably won't leave until around. I'll have to actually listen to those races in the car.
Is the entire Simonovich family going to be at Hawthorne, including my buddy Davey Crowley?
David Crowley was sick. I'll have to see if he's going to muster up the courage to show up.
Okay.
My dad, me, some of the kids. Who knows? There's going to be. We've had anywhere from 5 to 20 people at the track the last 4 racing days.
I got a roll here. How many viewers did we get today?
Well, we got 62.
We should have had more. We gave out some winners yesterday. We should have had more today.
Nobody's up this early.
Up this early? It's 10:45 on the East Coast.
Yeah, for me and you but come on, Saturday night to Sunday, everybody's partying, drinking.
Yeah, I'm not partying. I can tell you that.
Me neither. You kidding me?
All right. Well, Steve-O, let's make
some money. Let's make some money. Hey, and just remember, let me get the little thing here. This is what we do for our people here.
Well, we try to do it. We try. Some months are better than others for sure, but we definitely put in. Hey, you know what? While you're doing that, I'm going to share a little bit of Team Loan Speed inside info.
Oh, go ahead.
Our good buddy Dylan Donnelly,
yes,
has he's taking a temporary break from the horses to focus on poker, and he's still doing the big contests in horse racing, but he's not following day to day. After he's had an amazing first half of the year. I think he's either leading the tour or he's up these. He was.
Wait a minute. Wait. He told us after his big run in the NHC where he was disappointed. He finished 5th. I understand him because I was in a similar situation, but he said he's going to go for the tour. And once he said that, it's like a foregone conclusion. If Dylan's going to go for the tour, he's the heavy favorite to win it.
Correct.
So you're trying to tell me with all of his points that he has, he's not going to go for the tour anymore or try as hard?
I'm looking up the tour leaderboard right now. Where the hell is the damn leaderboard? We got leaders, leaderboard. Oh, come on, thing. So let me be clear. What he told me was he's not stopping. Dylan is currently 4th on the tour.
He's 4th on the tour?
He's 4th, and he's 2,600 points out of the lead. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I don't think he's quitting the tour. I think he's just going to focus on the major events.
I wonder if he's playing with Carl Broberg online.
He's got, okay, so Dylan's got 2 scores that are top scores. He's got a 2,900 and a 2,800. But you and I both know, because we followed the tour, you need to have at least a couple 3,000 and up scores, and you need to have several in the mid to high 2,000 range. And right now, Dylan, as it is, he's got a good total right now at 18,000, but he's going to need to get some major scores, and they're going to have to come on track. Because I don't think he's playing a lot of online.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's already got 2 BCBCs and he's double qualified already.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. So I think that kind of factors into it as well. And he's probably like, well, maybe he had a good run in poker and now he wants to try and do that. He's been sending us these poker things. I like to play poker too, but
he told me the other night he was I talked to him yesterday. And he said, I was trying to convince him to bet on Fian at Saratoga, and I was unsuccessful. And it's one of those rare times where I'm right and Dylan's wrong. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Okay? But he had been up till really late at night playing poker at a card room, not a casino, but a card room. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. He could change his mind tomorrow. And then, Frank is Frank. Frank was at Indiana Grand yesterday for their contest.
Oh, how'd he do there?
Well, he would have won the contest, but Tip Top Thomas, if Tip Top Thomas gets past late, Frank wins. And he didn't, so he missed. So anyway, all right, good. I got to bounce, brother. Good luck today. Let's do it for the people.
We do it for the people. I got it up, and I'll be. Yeah, let's win some money here, and I feel pretty good about these picks. And yeah, I'm not talking to anybody else about gutters, roof systems, driveway paving, windows. I ain't talking to anybody anymore.
Good luck to Dino's Dixie, my friend. Say hi to your dad and Davey for me.
I will. Look for us in the winner's circle.
Later. See you later, buddy.
All right, bye.